I bought a brand new professional photography printer. Let's talk about it. Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to Rusty Brown Photography. I am Rusty. So glad you guys are here. As I said in the intro, I've got a brand new printer. It's a professional printer for photography. Today, this is not a review. I'm going to talk about the printer, what it is, how I'm going to use it, and why I have it. My old printer crapped out. My old printer died, right? I had an Epson Artisan 725 series printer for a long time. I want to say 2012, maybe even 2011. And those things probably had a shelf life of regular use of 5 years. Mine just died last year. And I think it's probably my fault because I went through a long period of not printing, and ultimately the nozzles got, all clogged up. And that was the end of that. Workhorse of a printer. It was not exclusively a photography printer, right? You could, print documents, but you could also print, what do you call those things? Media, CD discs. Yeah, it used to print discs. I know a lot of you probably don't know what this is. It's a disc case, and with that old Epson, you could do things like this, right? You could print stuff like this. This is actually a DVD, but you could do pictures and stuff like that and print it on there anyway. I know discs aren't a thing anymore for many of you. I've talked before on this channel about the value of printing, the importance of printing, and why I think it's important. And this is probably a continuation along that same line. I believe that it brings our photography full circle. We spend an awful lot of money on gear, on equipment. The amount of time that we put into doing what we do, studio time, working with clients, seeking out clients, the production, the storyboarding. We do an awful lot, and I get it. A lot of people still are satisfied with making, I should say, the end product something that they view on a phone. And I'm not knocking your hustle if that's your thing. I just think that until you've printed some of your work, some of your best work, and had it in your hand, you really won't appreciate all those other things that you're doing to get the good shot. So I made a conscious decision since the Epson since the Epson crapped out to get another printer. Now, the way I started, and I think I may have talked about this before, even with the Epson, I had an old portfolio, right? This guy right here, where I used to print my stuff, things that I liked, and I would print them and put them inside, and I just made this myself from, I got it at Staples or whatever, and I still have these old images in there. So for me, printing like that was really important. After doing that first round of printing at an 8x10, I went to school like in 2012, 2016, really got into printing then. It was a critical part of what we had to do. And during that time, we had portfolios, like real ones. I think I may have shown you guys this before, but little handle on it. It's got straps. I'm not going to bust this big guy open, but it's got stuff in it. So what we used to have to do, you get your assignments, you had to print them using professional paper and inks and such in the lab at school. And then you'd put it in here and you had to give it to your professor, and then she would grade your work based on that portfolio. Once I got past that, and I think I talked about this before too, I've been a big fan of Whitewall. Whitewall stuff is just really good. This stuff here is called 4X. It's kind of cardboard-like, you know what I mean? It doesn't get messed up. They come with the little hooks on the back. You can get them with rails like that, right? Same thing. The rails go up, you put it on your wall, you hang it. Very durable. Like I say, you can't mess it up. Matte finish for most of them. And so once I got out of school, when I really wanted to print big, and when I started the gallery wall, it was always Whitewall for me because they do such a great job. The prints of that size, which were about the average for me, anywhere from 18 to 22 to 20 to 24, Without the rail, they were about 65 bucks a piece. If you put the rail, it was about $100 a piece per image. The Pro-1000 is $999, which is about $300 less than the new Pro-1100. And there's not a whole lot of difference between the two. When you think about this printer here, it's been around on the market for a number of years, quite the workhorse. So once I made the decision to get back into printing, I thought I could save a couple of bucks by, you know, buying a brand new 1000 and saving a few $100s as opposed to getting the 1100. Interestingly enough, after I took the Epson out, I could not put this printer in the same place, just off camera here, where the Epson was, because it's too big. This is a behemoth of a printer. It is large. It weighs in, I want to say, just over 70 pounds. When it arrived at the house, it's got all this extra packing stuff inside, so it was much heavier than 70 pounds. And, you know, just to give you some scale, you can see, you know, Dee sitting on the box, and, you know, she's a regular person, but this box is almost as big as she is. So there was only one place to put it because I didn't have room there. Over here, where you see this keyboard, I have a custom built PC. This is where I do most of my work all the time. Behind me here, I have an Apple Mac Pro. Not a MacBook Pro, a Mac Pro, which is a tower that I was gifted. It was either last year or the end of 2023. Multimedia beast. It's just one hell of a machine. And as a matter of fact, once I got that, I literally went out and got the, I keep doing that. I got the BenQ, this monitor with the moon on it. That's a reference monitor because I really wanted a high-end color calibrated monitor. Not that there's anything wrong with the two Dells on the workstation, but I wanted a reference monitor to connect to the Mac Pro. Well, now I put this Pro printer here. So this entire Mac area behind me will be the printer workstation. I did not use Bluetooth at all. I just did a direct connect USB from the new printer to the Mac Pro. This printer comes with a lot of cartridges, 12 of them. I want to say they're 80 milliliters, I believe, each. I'll double check that. But the cartridges are big and it takes a lot of them. And, you know, it's the most amount of cartridges in any printer that I've ever had. I think the Epson had 6, and the 6 that it had were a lot smaller. If you look here, you can see the size difference between the Canon and the Epson. Just massive cartridges. The setup took a little while. I would say probably 40 minutes or so. So the process is, when you turn it on, it tells you what to do on the screen. You have to load all the different cartridges and wait. Once you've loaded the cartridges, it just goes through a series of things that it does and does over, and it's making all kinds of noise and gyrations and such. And if it does a good job, at some point it tells you to insert this particular sheet of paper and to insert it with this corner, this cut corner up. It takes a few more minutes, and then when it's done, it outputs this. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to see it because of the lights here in the studio, but it outputs this with all these different colors, and then it says you are ready to go. The printer prints up to what they call A2 or 17 by 22 sheets. You could do a roll as well, but I'm not doing roll, I'm just doing sheets. It also does A3, which is 11 by 17. It can do any size up to 17 by 22. I'm going to talk about the cost of the cartridges in a minute. What I'm going to be printing. 3 things generally. Stuff for the family. I'm doing my own portfolio again, not like the big boy that I showed you, but I'm going to do a portfolio now that is 11 by 17. And then I'm going to now start updating my gallery wall by doing my prints here as opposed to sending them to Whitewall. So the gallery wall will be 17 by 22. My new portfolio will be 11 by 17. Most of the family stuff will be 8 by 10. You know, the grandkids, and these were just JPEG school pictures that Vern sent me of the kids. So I printed out one from 2023, one from 2024. But this, I don't know if you can hear this, it's almost like cardboard. So this is actually called exhibition fiber paper, which is really good. All the paper I'm going to show you is from Epson, but the exhibition fiber is really good, and you know, it's the top of the line from Epson. It's called signature worthy because that's what it is. This is going to be the new personal portfolio. So you remember that 8x10 I showed you from Staples? This is not it. This is a dedicated 11x17 Itoya art portfolio that I got from B&H. This one has pages, sleeves in it. It can hold up to, I want to say, 50 images. And I bought 2 of these. $17. I'm going to print 1 image a week that goes in the portfolio. And the key thing for this portfolio, guys, is it will not be themed. It's going to be anything that I like. And I'm going to show you a couple samples here in a moment, but not exclusively sports, right? Not exclusively wildlife or birds, or not exclusively model work, but you know, I have a series that I'm doing called Me and My Camera. So whatever I take that I like, now I'm going to print, and that's what's going to be inside of the 11x17. This is the paper that I'm using for the 11x17. It's called Epson Ultra Premium Photo Paper Luster. I'll tell you about the cost of this too. This is pretty heavy, but this is also signature worthy, right? It's a good paper, not as heavy as the exhibition fiber, but really, really good. The third type of print that I'm doing, like I said, is for the gallery wall, also using the exact same type of paper, just bigger. This is the 17x22, exact same thing from Epson, ultra premium photo paper luster. And again, I will talk about the cost of that. I want to tell you a little bit about the configuration. So when you get this printer, you can decide to use the software that Canon has to manage it, which is pretty good. I'm not doing that. I am using Lightroom to manage the prints because I'm familiar with Lightroom and because I'm just used to it. And the neat thing is the printer really doesn't care. Once I connected it, they exchanged information. They being the Canon printer and Adobe Lightroom, it was good to go. I still let the printer do the color management. So if you know anything about the Lightroom print module, there's an area on the bottom where you can say, I want Lightroom to do the color management, or I want the printer. I default that to the Canon because the Canon is smarter about its own color management system. But I am using Lightroom to determine the management of the print. So size, type of paper, number of copies, what DPI I want to use. And to that extent, I'm doing 300 DPI for 11x17, but I'm doing 400 DPI for the bigger images, the ones that are going up on the gallery wall, the 17 by 22. So it takes a little more. It's going to take a little more ink for those. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you a couple of samples. I'm going to show you the image in Lightroom, and then I'm going to show you what the print looks like. And just so you know, one of the things that I really like about pro printing, and you could do this also with pro companies like Whitewall, I'm printing TIFFs now, right? Now you can print JPEGs, but if you have a TIFF file, and some of mine are 1.3, 1.4 gig for one file, you just select 16-bit on Lightroom and you get the full range of all the colors and the sharpness and whatnot. So you do not have to default to JPEG to get a really good print. So I like the idea of doing that. I'm going to show you a couple samples in 3 categories. The first is just a couple images that I wanted to put into my portfolio because they're colorful and I really wanted to test the color. The second is what I call, gosh, it doesn't have a name. Images that I really like that just don't fit into a category, but there's 3 images in particular that have always been favorites of mine, and now I can print them. I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. And then the third are the larger prints that that are going to be on the gallery wall. So let's start off with taking a look at the 11x17s. Some of the 11x17s that are going to go into the portfolio. Here you go. So this is the first picture that's going in the portfolio. This is D. I like this one because I just like the image, always have, but I love the different colors, the different shades of brown and red and the fade out in the background. Next up is a picture that I took sometime in 2024. I think it was summertime in Seattle for a photo project. This one was called Leading Lines. So I was taking a picture of the rail that goes to infinity, but then I also had the 2 stacks that were in a line, and then way over to the right, I had leading lines on top of a bridge. Okay, this image here is Hunter. This is from 2016. What I like about this image is this was the first time that I felt comfortable with frequency separation, right? That's a style of editing I'd been trying before, and I was doing okay. But when I did the edit for Hunter on this image, from this point forward, I knew that I had it. I knew that I was comfortable with what I was doing and I wasn't missing steps. And if you know anything about frequency separation, you miss one step, it gets all jacked up. This was extremely difficult because of all the colors in it. So it was always one of my favorites. And for the first, set of prints to be printed, I wanted something colorful. So there's Hunter. Another colorful one. This was from, I want to say, September. This is from a set called Gamers. Also lots of colors. And then lastly, what I wanted to do a black and white. This one, train is leaving the station. And so I wanted to see just how good the printer could do printing black and white. All right, so with the first 5 that you just saw in Lightroom, this is the print. Again, I don't know if the light's going to do it any justice, but this was the first print of D. Second print, Seattle. Third print, Hunter. Trying to get the light right. Is that better? Fourth print, Gamer. And these colors, I think, are, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but the resolution on these guys are really, really, really quite stunning. The black and white that you saw, I like this a lot. Same thing, really crisp and clean, so it doesn't have to be color to get a really good print. So these next 3 shots, I call them juxtapositions because they were quite random. They're all 11 years old from different cities in Spain from a trip that we were on. If you look carefully in the window on the left, you might be able to see the reflections of the group that we were with. And everybody was facing in the opposite direction. And I turned and I saw this and I took this picture in one shot. And I was amazed with what I saw as the story. I don't know what these words are saying in either one of these advertisements. But what struck me was you have 2 different adverts, both with young kids, both look extremely happy in whatever it is that they're doing, young, full of life, and they have a bunch of anticipation about life in front of them. But we also have a gentleman who, if you look carefully, he's sitting on a duffel bag, which I'm assuming has all of his belongings in it. He's got a bag of chips on his left, and he's got a beer on his right. And he looks like, life may have been difficult for him, or that life has worn him down. He's got a boil that's growing out of the side of his face, and, he's just there, collecting it all in. But what I saw in this shot was just opposites, right? That juxtaposition. And so it's always been one of my favorites, and now it's inside the portfolio. Another juxtaposition, different city in Spain. In this case, this lady almost just walked right into me. She didn't even know I was there. And when I looked up, I had just a quick second to get the shot. And what I saw was the 2 gentlemen that are up front and on the left had just passed us. Extremely well dressed, businessmen of some type, maybe in finance, don't know. They were having a conversation moving forward. You see 2 tourists far in the back. But then there was this senior citizen who was walking slowly, and she was coming right at me, and she was so locked in on whatever was on her mind. And I reached for the camera, got it up, and grabbed the shot. She's holding on to her purse. She's got her umbrella ready for the rain, but I often wondered, was she troubled or what was on her mind? And I was so happy that I was able to get that in one shot. I call that a juxtaposition as well, when you look at the differences between, the 3 different things that are going on in that same shot. Last juxtaposition, also in Spain. This is just outside of a subway station. If you look carefully, you can see the escalator that goes down. What I found really interesting here was you had 3 high school girls looking at one single smartphone, looking at Facebook and social media, sitting on the very same stoop as an elderly gentleman who is knocked out fast asleep using his duffel bag as a pillow. And neither one is concerned about the other. And I also found this to be like, you know, the two opposite scales of life. Young youth, where the only focus they have is what's on social media right now. And when I look at this gentleman's face, I see life, I see experiences. And, you know, he has to grab this sleep where he can get it. But the fact that they can be sitting on the same stoop like that, not bothering one another and not caring and just oblivious to the other, I thought that juxtaposition was simply amazing. So now that too is in the portfolio. Now for those three that I said, you know, had the juxtapositions, this was the older guy sitting on the ledge with the chips and the beer with the two kids advertisements behind him. This was the senior citizen who had a lot on her mind, who was walking towards me. Very nice print there as well. This was the elderly gentleman who was asleep on the stoop with the high school kids behind him, checking out their Facebook page. I'll give you some B-roll of what it looks like inside the book. Okay, so for the wall gallery, for the gallery wall, we're going to do 5 images. These are the big ones. I printed these at 400 DPI. So these are going to be the first 5. Again, a little bit of an Easter egg. These are all dresses. So we got Amika on the first one, Julia on the second one. We've got Lauren on the third one. We've got Taina, my bad, on the fourth one. And we have T on the fifth one. This one's also quite colorful. So these will be the 5 17 by 22s. 17 by 22, 17 by 22. Julia, Lauren, really came out nice, I thought. Hey, look at that. Now that's Lauren on that screen behind me. Over there, yep. 17 by 22, Tiana, but this one of T is also 17 by 22, just like we showed you in Lightroom. I'm also going to show you a B-roll on as we leave the video of the gallery wall with the new 17 by 22s. Now that the old ones have come down, the ones with jeans. If you made it this far, I've got a bonus for you. If you listened carefully when we were talking about when I was showing you the Lightroom, I talked about Easter eggs. So the Easter eggs are basically the existing gallery wall jeans, the new gallery wall dresses, and there's a third theme called gamers, because I recently finished my second book and it's called Jeans, Dresses, and Gamers. In the spirit of printing, I thought it was important to announce the book. So this is it's been years in the making, especially the jeans portion of it. There are a couple images in here that are 20 years old, and there are some that are just a couple of months old. But it's really just what it says: images of models in jeans or in dresses or gamers, or in some cases multiple combinations of that. This is it's literally just a picture book. With all kinds of nice images that I've taken over the years. And what I'm doing now is I have a few of these left here. You can purchase these through the publisher. I'll have a link in. My publisher is actually Blurb, but I do have a few here that I'm going to be shipping out directly. If you're interested in getting your copy of Jeans, Dresses, and Gamers, pop over to the website. There's a link in the description, and I'll put it on the screen as well. If you go to my website, across the top of the menu, you just go to the store and you will see it there. If you decide to purchase one of these, I will autograph it to you as a personal thank you for helping to support the channel. I'm only going to do it until the supply that I have here in studio is gone, and then I'm going to take it down. So if you want to know when they're actually gone, if you get to the store on the website and you don't see this, jeans, dresses, and gamers by me, then that means that I have already sold out of the limited supply that I have here. If you're interested in doing your own book, it isn't hard. Drop me a line in the comments and let me know, and I can help you with that process. I really believe that once you start printing in any form, whether it's with your own printer at home or in the studio, whether you ship your jobs out to a Whitewall or somewhere else, whether you go to your local college and print like I did for so long, or whether you start making your own books, print your stuff. It matters, and I think you're going to be so happy that you did. Last thing I'll do is I want to do a shout out to some of my local guys, like Rick, Mace, Steve, LB. You guys are more than welcome to come through and hit the printer. There's going to be a jar here for an ink jar. Oh, that's right. I said I was going to talk about pricing. The portfolio I told you was 17 bucks. The 11 by 17 paper is $107. The 17 by 22 is $59. The ink per cartridge, $54. The ink for all 12, $687. So this is a lot of ink in here, but damn, $687. Fun fact, while I was printing for this and for the portfolio, Dee came in and asked me, how long does the ink last? Do you know when you'll have to replace it? And I told her, well, a lot of factors, right? What you're printing, what colors are in the print are going to dictate which inks run out first, etc. But I told her I would be keeping an eye out for that. And I'll be damned if, like, shortly thereafter, the printer makes a noise, and then it has a yellow light on it. I go to look at it, and it says ink low. And this is the one that was low, CO, which is Chroma Optimizer. I don't know what the hell that is, but it was low. Mind you, I was still printing not just for this YouTube video, but for the portfolio. So I was like, wow, if this is going that fast, I better get some more. So I immediately went to B&H and I said, I'm going to get one of these because this must be the one that goes fast. And I'm going to get a whole new set of 12, because you do get a set of 12 with your printer, thankfully, of all Canon ink. But I didn't want this stuff to run out, and because I'm new to this, I don't know how frequently it does. The good news is I won't be printing as much as I have this week with the big 17 by 22s at 400 DPI and all of the 11 by 17s at 300 DPI. But since that notice came on around image number 14, I was able to get through everything that I did. It still says low ink, but it has not run out. So my point about my guys coming over and print, bring your TIFF files, come on over, plug in and print, but you will see an ink jar here. You need to drop some money in the ink jar, because that's the thing that's going to run out the most. So that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about today. Let you guys know that I have decided to do printing at home. I will still use Whitewall, but sparingly. For big jobs, client jobs, and things of that nature, I cannot recommend them enough. They've been a super good partner and a super good retailer for me for the last 5 years now. That's how long I've been printing with Whitewall. I will keep you guys updated as the journey goes along, and I'll keep you updated to what how the portfolio fills out. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope you're having a great day, a better week, and a super awesome 2025. We'll talk to you guys next time. Take care.